9-0 decision, and it was by Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. So this is like a unicorn decision, and it's an important one. It's a Supreme Court decision that talks about how our immigration system handles claims of persecution, claims of torture by these illegal aliens who are coming to America. There was a Salvadorian citizen who fled to the United States with his wife and his minor child back in I think it was 2020, if I'm not mistaken. He had in his hometown back in El Salvador, he had got beaten up a few times. His brother got shot, but when this family moved to different parts of El Salvador, it was fine. It was mostly peaceful, as we say, with BLM. But he didn't face violence if he moved to other parts of El Salvador. It was only when he moved back to his hometown that he faced this hometown rivalry or whatever it was against his family. And so then, of course, like all these illegal immigrants do, they come to the United States illegally. So he came here. He gets caught and he claims asylum. He claims that if he gets sent back home, that he's going to be tortured. And you have federal immigration judges. Immigration judges work for the Justice Department. They're appointed by the Attorney General. They are executive branch officials, and that is intentionally set up by Congress because immigration, the laws are written by Congress, but the enforcement is an executive branch function. And so this immigration judge said that this guy, his wife, and his kid didn't meet the standard for torture. Adios, Pablo, you're going back home, or whatever the hell his name is. And that decision was upheld on appeal through the Justice Department, through the Board of Immigration Appeals. And then from there, it goes to a federal court of appeals. It goes, in this case, the First Circuit. And the First Circuit, which is dominated by liberals, correctly held that this guy didn't meet the standard, and there is strong deference. There is substantial deference, very strong deference to the executive branch when they make these determinations related to immigration, related to torture, and asylum cases. And so the Supreme Court 9-0 upheld that. And this is important in this respect, Steve. It reaffirms that these decisions are not for these activist Democrats judges to make. You can't run to a federal district court judge in Boston or New York or LA or one of these other liberal hellholes and have one of these district court judges up in the process to free their illegals, right? It has to be through the process, and this was a 9-0 decision.
Go ahead.
So the Supreme Court did not directly address the structure of the immigration system that broadly, but this was a 9-0 decision. Like that rarely happens. Justice Jackson, the most liberal of all of them, the most political and liberal of all of them, wrote this opinion for the majority. And there was no controversy around the fact that Congress writes our immigration laws, the executive branch enforces and adjudicates our immigration laws, both through ICE, arresting these illegals, and then U.S. immigration judges who are executive branch Justice Department officials appointed by the Attorney General who decide these matters. This is immigration. This is separate from other matters we have before the federal courts. There are different due process concerns for illegal immigrants than for American citizens. American citizens have more due process. They have Article 3 due process. These illegal immigrants do not, right? They go through the U.S. immigration courts, and then it goes through the federal, to the Bureau of Immigration Appeals or whatever it's called. That's an executive branch court. And then it only goes to the federal court of appeal after that, so the relevant geographic federal court of appeal after it's exhausted through the Justice Department system, and the courts of appeals give substantial deference to the findings of these immigration courts. So the idea that you're just going to come in here and illegally come into our country and get caught and then say, oh, I need asylum, I'm being persecuted back home because my drug dealer down the street is beating me up, that's not going to fly, right? And so it's very important for this 9-0 decision out of the Supreme Court.